The rise to greatness continues here in the 9th season of the ASEAN Basketball League. A very important matchup with a lot of playoff implications. Hong Kong Eastern battling Mono Vampire right here at Stadium 29, Nonthaburi, Thailand. And we bring you the action. My name is Noel Zarate alongside the stats god himself, TK or Sajatam Kulsulbun. I hope you got your name right.
Yeah, you always do.
All right, so look at the standings right now, TK. Hong Kong with a win here today clinches a playoff spot. Mono Vampire trying to stay alive.
Yeah, and as always, the Mono Vampire making a late push here to make it to the playoffs. Their standings at 9th right now, but they're making a really strong move to get into the 8th spot.
All right, let's meet the players from Hong Kong Eastern being introduced right now.
Number 21, Lemon Chon. Number 24, John So. And number 88, Lao Shi Lai. And number 55, Michael Horifel. And head coach, Mr. Edward Trolles. เอาละค่ะและเรามาพบกับชมหน้านักกีฬานะคะจากสโมสร Mono Vampire. And now introduce for Mono Vampire Basketball Club. Woo!
Oh, and a chase down block.
And first player number 24, Romeo Travis. 77, Shitshai Ananti. Number 7, Michael Sigertari. Number 65, Tirowatan Tajon. Number 69, Durongpan Apirowilaishai. Number 0, Tyler Lam. Number 33, Nopon Sangtong. And number 79, Zittapon Towe Roy. Player number 1, Malcolm White. Number 11, Morset Morgan. Number 22, Federic Jones. And number 13, Shanachon Glahan. Head coach, Mr. Muddy Duckrat. And it's now, grab your hand for Mono Vampire Basketball Club! Woo!
A very spirited intro, and you can see the dancers are also in the festive foresty mood here today, TK.
They always are here at Stadium 29.
Well, again, you know, a lot of playoff implications between these two squads, and these were two semi-finalists actually from last season. Mono Vampire making it all the way to the finals. Sam DeGuara for the second time this season will be playing against his former club, and Tyler Lamb for the first time facing up against Marcus Elliott. As we take a look at the last game here for Hong Kong Eastern, that was actually a loss on the road against the Formosa Dreamers, and that sort of delayed their entry into the playoffs, but they can still make it. They still have a few games left.
Yeah, and Marcus Elliott, he had a great game last time. They hope that he can keep this going here despite the loss from the last game. He's been on top-notch form as he always been, the MVP from 2 seasons ago. And that's going to be something that Eastern really have to keep on going.
Marcus Elliott, of course, coming off 34 points. His numbers have gone down this season, 34 5 rebounds, 5 assists, but you know, he will be playing 40 minutes today. There was a lot of talk that O'Darian Bassett might make his way back to the lineup, but they're still keeping Michael Holyfield, which means Marcus Elliott will have the point guard chores all to himself practically the entire game.
But as you said, Michael Holyfield playing alongside Sam DeGuara, I think that adds a lot of size that will be a good matchup going against a Mono Vampire team that has both Malcolm White and Romeo Travis in the lineup.
Well, Romeo Travis is in harness here today, and they're coming off a big win on the road against the Westport's Malaysia Dragons, and this pushes the Dragons down a bit. If the playoffs started today, Mono would still be on the outside looking in, but only by half a game at this point. That was a big game, however, from Michael Singletary.
Especially with Romeo Travis out for that game and Malcolm White not being able to stay the whole entire 40 minutes. Michael Singletary had to step up, and he did so, leading his team to an important win.
Now, this is going to be the matchup that's very key here. Tyler Lamb, of course, won a championship a couple of seasons ago here in the ABL, but with Hong Kong Eastern. And for the first time, he'll be going up against his former team, coming off the 23.5 rebound, 3 steals performance against the Westport's Malaysia Dragons.
And this is interesting, seeing Tyler Lamb here with the Mono Vampire and Sam Deguara with Hong Kong Eastern.
Right.
It's kind of like a trade here. We don't have those in the ABL, but it's fun to speculate. That's what makes these kind of matchups a little bit more interesting, aside from the playoff implications as well.
Do you think, TK, that there'll be a matchup between Elliott and Lamb later on?
That's going to be so much fun because both were backcourt partners for the longest of times. It's going to be a fun matchup.
Michael Singletary, as we mentioned earlier, coming off a 27-point, 12 rebound, 3 assist game. The assists actually quite disappointing in that one. He's close to averaging a triple-double since the departure of Jason Brickman. Hey, but a win is a win, and Singletary leading the way again.
And Singletary, he's second in the league in scoring, 26 points per game. He's 10th in rebounds, averaging a double-double with 10 more in that area. He's just been on a tear this season, as he was last season as well. Just the cornerstone of this Mono Vampire franchise, and they're going to need him to keep on producing if they want a chance at going back to the finals.
And our matchup in the center position, Sam Deguara, the second leading rebounder in the league, going up against Malcolm White, a guy who loves to dunk. 20 points a game, 16.4. Again, this is going to be a matchup. Malcolm White not really accustomed to going up against guys who are a lot taller than him. That's going to be the case today.
Yeah, but both guys like to tear down those rims, like to go aggressively towards bringing that rim down. And that's going to be an interesting matchup. As you said, Malcolm White is not usually accustomed to going up against big guys, whether it's Sam Deguara or PJ Ramos, but he does have the finesse. He has that nifty right-handed hook that he knocks down consistently. That's something that the Mono Vampire can get going inside.
The starters right now for Hong Kong Eastern, once again, 3 guards and 2 bigs. Deguara at 7'5", Holyfield at 6'11". But again, Elliott will be the point guard. Chan Siu Wing and Lee Kee interchangeable at that 2 and 3 position. That's going to be a lot of shooting right off the bat for Coach Edu Torres.
Yeah, and I love that three-man perimeter lineup. That's the one that got them the championship in their first year. Of course, with Tyler Lamb there, who's starting with the Mono Vampire. But those are the 3 OGs, I would say, of the Hong Kong Eastern basketball team, and that's what they're doing here.
Well, nice to see Romeo Travis back in harness. I had a chat with a few players, and they said they are at full strength. That is the word that they've been using the whole day. For Coach Douglas Marty, having Romeo Travis back, that is huge, because Travis doesn't really have to score to become effective for Mono Vampire.
And Travis just loves doing that facilitating role. He doesn't really need to take over. You have guys like Michael Singletary who can shoot, who can drive. You have a guy like Malcolm White who can bang it down low. Freddie Lish is a good option to shoot from anywhere on the court to create his own offense. Tyler Lamb's just a fantastic shooter. Just so much offensive firepower for Travis to facilitate.
Now, of course, you have to remember that Sam Deguara last year did play for Mono Vampire, led them all the way to the championship after upsetting the Nanhai or the Chongsan Kung Fu in the semifinal round. And Tyler Lamb, of course, was part of that Hong Kong Eastern squad that lost to San Miguel Alab Pilipinas and the semis. They have changed zip codes. I don't know if you call it zip codes. It changed countries already at this point. Nice to see Romeo Travis back, but it will be interesting. This guy, Marcus Elliott, will be the centerpiece right now for Hong Kong. Where he goes, Hong Kong Eastern follows.
And he's such a great vocal leader. He's also a leader by example for this team. He works hard. He's able to direct the offense however Coach Edu Torres wants it going. He's just been the perfect leader for this team throughout these past 3 seasons.
And of course, Mono Vampire and their trademark orange jerseys against the blue jerseys of Hong Kong Eastern. Deguara versus White, and White will win the tap. Sam never even got off the ground. That's good timing to give the first possession now to Mono Vampire. We are underway, a lot of playoff implications that we will talk about later on, TK, as Malcolm White puts up the first shot, and the first points belong to Mono Vampire.
And that's fun to watch. As we were talking, Malcolm White does have that finesse to hit the mid-range jumpers, whether it's from the baseline or the free throw area. I feel that if you can do that, you can open up the spacing and draw Sam Deguara away from the paint.
It's a good back screen for Marcus Elliott. Wild reverse layup, though, but it's a touch last by Malcolm White. And again, very tall front court with Deguara at 7'5" and Holyfield at 6'11". As we take a look at that back cut once again, Marcus Elliott's going to have to get a lot of those today if he wants to be effective against this very fast Mono Vampire squad.
For sure, the front court is tall, but there's a bit of a drop-off at the 2 and 3 position, and that's something that Tyler Lamb might want to take advantage of.
Nice pass inside. DeGuara can't roll it in, though. Battle for the rebound. DeGuara doesn't even have to jump. DeGuara blocked from behind by Romeo Travis, and here comes Mono Vampire. It's a 3-on-3 going the other way. Tyler Lamb heard the whistle, continued with his motion, and he will be awarded 2 free throws.
It's just a bit ironic that Sam DeGuara missed those 2 baskets down low. The last time he scored here at Stadium 29 in the semifinals was a buzzer-beating basket.
Right, you're right.
It's just kind of weird. He's the leader in field goal percentage so far this season, so that's a good job by pressuring from the Mono Vampire down low. Sam DeGuara, sometimes he doesn't take that physical contact as well, and he was a bit rattled there.
I don't remember any conversation between Marcus Elliott and Tyler Lamb before this game. We were watching these 2 players. They hardly even looked at each other during the pregame warm-up. Do you think there's any kind of animosity between these 2 squads? I mean, we heard the word, Michael Singletary saying, hey, traitor, traitor. I don't think that's going to be the case, but these are 2 competitive guys.
Both teams really want to get a deep playoff run this year.
DeGuara getting it out. Chance Yu Wing once again. Sam DeGuara on the repost. DeGuara blocked from behind again by Singletary. Gets it back. Elliott fakes the pass. Shot clock did not reset. 3 to shoot. Chance Yu Wing knows it and lets it fly and connects.
Even though Eastern there were able to get the 3-pointer, I like how Mono Vampire came in here prepared to go up against DeGuara, double teaming quickly and getting that weak side block.
Oh, Malcolm White. 2 for 2 to begin this game, and he's feeling it. He is the energizer of this squad.
Again, it's going to be interesting to see how Edu Torres counters that. Does he switch someone else onto Malcolm White, who's been heating up from that range, or does he stay with DeGuara?
Lee Key, all sorts of moves, still being bothered there by Freddie Leash. Shot clock at 7 right now. Marcus Elliott still nowhere to go. Marcus Elliott on the step back 3. That is way off. Holyfield can't save it, and the possession goes back to Mono Vampire.
As you see, though, the defensive versatility of this lineup for the Mono Vampire, I feel like they can switch easily. Tyler Lamb can go down 1 to 3. Romeo Travis can practically go 2 to 5.
Yeah.
It's just a versatile defensive slip, and anyone can just switch on anyone, just making it difficult for Eastern.
Well, for now, Freddie Leash is still doing the point guard chores. We know that he can play off the ball. How about 3 of 3 to begin the game for Malcolm White?
He's going to be knocking those all day if they don't switch something up on him soon.
8-3, Mono Vampire off to a good start on offense. Only the 1 3-pointer by Chance Yu Wing. Make that 2 now for Chance Yu Wing. He's got all the points for Hong Kong Eastern.
That guy is such a great shooter. You just can't give him the confidence to make those open shots.
Leash trying to operate against Chance Yu Wing. That's going to be a foul on Chan. So still 8-6 Mono Vampire. Chance Yu Wing lit it up for 4 3-pointers in the loss against the Macau Black Bears. And did not score until the 4th quarter of that game. So off to a good start here once again.
Let's talk about lighting up. Mono Vampire doing a good job here, putting those shots in from the mid-range, and that's going to help on the awareness of Eastern and stretching out the floor.
And to think that Mike Singletary has not even had a single attempt in the game. And Marcus Elliott has missed all his shots so far. Chance Yu Wing, 2 for 2 from the field. Lee Key thinking about it. Lee Key gets it out. Chance Yu Wing on the quick release. That's his first miss. Lamb for the rebound, and here comes Leash. Leash on the crossover, trying to lose Lee Key. Singletary now posting up against a smaller Chance Yu Wing. And how about the creative reverse coming from Mike Singletary?
So great recognition there. As you see here, he just bumps him down once you see that baseline. Just goes straight to the paint.
Nothing Sam DeGuara could do either to stop that one. He's going to be whistled for his first. And that's going to be important because Sam DeGuara, when he sits down, obviously Hong Kong Eastern shrinks a lot.
And we've seen throughout this first few minutes of the first quarter that Eastern has settled down in the zone a bit. They're daring Mono Vampire to take the threes a little bit, but they're just taking it straight into the mid-range, or at least straight to the basket.
Again, a good offensive start for Mono Vampire. Now up by 7, 13-6. 6:35 to play. Leakey has that poked away. He will recover in the backcourt. Shot clock at 7. Lee and Freddie Lee's trying to fight the pick coming up from Holyfield will be called for his first.
Coach Douglas Martin has got to love this effort from Freddie Lish. Sometimes his defensive effort goes up and down, but right now, whenever it peaks, he can practically stop any guard that he's in front of.
And for the newcomers to our broadcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us right here at Stadium 29. You're probably thinking, Mono Vampire, how many imports do they have? They actually have 3, but they also have 3 locals who play like imports. As Marcus Elliott continues to struggle, we're talking about Freddie Leach, Tyler Lamb, and Moses Morgan, who hasn't seen action yet. There's Malcolm White against Holyfield. That's got to be an interesting matchup. White on the fall away. He has yet to miss in this game.
What a touch there. Malcolm White, he knows it. He's letting everyone knows it. What a great start.
Malcolm White starting to play like Dirk Nowitzki out there. 8 points on 4 of 4 shooting. Mono Vampire with their biggest lead of the game at 9. Timeout called by Edu Torres. We'll be right back. Back at us here inside Stadium 29, Nonthaburi, Thailand. Mono Vampire with their backs against the wall in terms of the team standings. Off to a great start, up by 9 against Hong Kong Eastern. 15-6 Noel Zarate alongside Sajatam Kulsulbon. We call him TK as Michael Holyfield finally breaks the silence of Hong Kong Eastern.
But still, Malcolm White has been doing a great job against Eastern, matching their total right now. He could, it doesn't continue there though.
Well, he's 4 of 5 right now. His first miss. Travis trying to carve space inside. Will get to the free throw line. So many weapons for Coach Douglas Marty. And with the addition of Romeo Travis, that probably is the last piece of the puzzle for their final playoff push.
Yeah, and I like what they're doing here early in the game. Sometimes Mono Vampire tends to settle with long-range threes with Michael Singletary, Tyler Lamb, and Freddie Leach. I like how they're going down low to start the game here against Eastern, and that's going to help them with the spacing as the game goes.
Romeo Travis, of course, one of the guys in the inner circle of a certain LeBron James, one of LeBron's best friend. And when we asked about what is LeBron like? I mean, Romeo Travis just said, well, he's just part of the chat group. No big. He's one of the greatest players ever. Here's Marcus Elliott finding Holyfield in the post. Holyfield bothered that time by Malcolm White. Here comes Tyler Lamb.
Eastern tried to go with that same play against with Elliott setting up Holyfield down on the right side of the post, but Mono Vampire will quick to fill it up down in the shaded area, making it a bit more difficult.
Right, it's not every day that you see Lee Key, sort of get deflected all the way to the baseline. But he was called for the foul, trying to block the path of Mike Singletary. So 17-8 is still our score. Singletary back to the free throw line. Mono now creating this huge lead. They're up by 10 with still more than halfway to play here in the first.
Well, more importantly, though, I feel like what they've been doing on defense has been more important. They're not letting Marcus Elliott have his way of getting into the paint and being able to kick out to the multiple shooters that they have, and that's really slowed Eastern down.
Oh, nice lob pass inside. Elliott is 0 for 5 to begin this game. Leash into the front court. Tyler Lamb left open. Three-pointer not there. And a rebound picked up by Hong Kong Eastern. There's going to be a foul on Romeo Travis.
That's not a good foul. Far away from the basket.
And that's going to give possession back to Hong Kong Eastern. So John Shu in the game for the first time. Chance Yu Wing getting it over now to Elliott. Elliott on the pick and pop. And a three-pointer is going to drop for John Shu.
And that's how Eastern gets their offense going. They get it to Marcus Elliott. He can draw in the defense. And they have three shooters, Lee Key, Chance Yu Wing, and John Shu on the court right now. And that's going to open up more playing space for Elliott and for Holyfield.
That cuts the lead down to single figures at this point. Romeo Travis working the post, fall away, trademark shot, but can't get it to go. So a few stops already now for Hong Kong Eastern, trying to knock on the door of this 11-point lead down to 8. It's still 8 right now as Elliott continues to miss. Leash in the front court. Recognizes that they don't have the advantage on offense. Gets it to Singletary, working against a smaller Elliott. Drop pass over to Malcolm White, and White will score. And Michael Holyfield was sent flying to the ground.
Good to see him quickly get up. That was a nasty ball, but
yeah,
he's got to have more discipline to see those pump fakes, because that was a wide open attempt later for Malcolm White.
Now it's 5 out of 6 in the game for White. Holyfield wants it back. Holyfield can't get it back. Travis leading the 4-on-3. Travis, Tyler Land, transition 3 is good. Biggest lead now for Mono Vampire, 24-11, TK. What a great start for the home team.
They can't imagine a better start than this. As you said, once you pound it down low, it just opens up so many opportunities, and the transition 3 there, just capitalizing all the good things that they have done.
Wow, Marcus Elliott is over 7,000 right now, as there's another one dropping from Mike Singletary. Hong Kong Eastern is in trouble. That was a solo effort, 26-11. There's going to be some subs right now as we see this one again. Taking it strong against John Shu, just having enough upper body strength to finish the shot. And this is a very inspired start for Mono Vampire. They know their playoff lives are on the line every game they play from here on out. And they're up by 16, trying to take a page out of the Macau Black Bears. When they beat San Miguel Alab Pilipinas the other day, they led 38-11 in that first quarter. And San Miguel Alab Pilipinas never had a chance of coming back. Lee Key, however, knocks his first triple, and that cuts the lead down to 13.
There's still a lot more to do for Eastern. They have to be able to stop Mono Vampire on the defensive side of the floor, and that's a huge, huge assignment for John Shu.
Here's White thinking about it. 3 posts now coming up from Travis. Gets it out. Malcolm White, jumper again. White with his second miss. Battle for the rebound. Picked up here by Hong Kong Eastern. Here's Ricky Yan seeing his first action of the game. Nice seal by DeGuara. DeGuara, hook shot, good.
Good to see Eastern there, slowing down, not trying to rush anything, going to what they've been getting to work this season. Just dropping it to Sam DeGuara.
Oh, nice pass that time. Singletary finding Malcolm White in traffic.
What a game Malcolm White has been having, just having the patience, drawing in the defense, pumping up his defenders, and easy baskets for him throughout this game.
12 points already on 6 of 8 shooting. In the meantime, Freddie Leash, that's going to be his second foul, trying to stop the very shifty Lee Key. With under 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. And our first look now at Darumpan Apiron Vilaychay. They call him Pom. Seeing his first action of the game, the veteran, a longtime member of the Thai national team.
Yeah, and this is gonna test the bench of Coach Douglas Marty. He hasn't substituted anyone in yet so far, bringing in 2 subs, Chantachon and Apiron Vilaychay.
Chantachon will be playing the power forward position at this point. Ricky Yang on the penetration, sweeping left-handed shot, no, DeGuara rebound. Foul acknowledged by Apiron Vilaychay. And I remember the article you wrote, TK, not too long ago, why he wears the number 69, because it's not a common number to be wearing on a basketball team, as Moses Morgan makes his first appearance of the game.
Well, as you see the number 69, you might think of some other things, but it's just that he has a twin. They wore 6 and 9 during their high school days, and now that his other brother is not playing as much anymore, being able to represent their brotherhood with his jersey number all at the same time is it's a good story.
It is a good story, and it is a good number to wear as well. As we can see here, Lee Key Trying to get that over to John Shu, wasn't ready, and Ricky Yang was nowhere close. That's going to be a backing violation. With 1:43 remaining in the first. It's been all Mono Vampire here in the first period. Leading by 13. Largest lead was at 16. It's now 29-16. Hong Kong Eastern not even at the 20 mark. And Marcus Elliott is still scoreless in this game. That is saved by John Shu to the wrong guy. Here's Tino at Chantachon. Nice head fake against his former teammate Sam DeGuara, and Chantachon scores.
Those two must have been going at each other like this throughout the entire last season, and that's some things that Chantachon picked up from their practices.
Yeah, this is what Tyler Lamb does. Break up the passing lanes, get the turnover. And here's Singletary, confident stroke on the follow-away.
Just can't miss here in this first half. Blistering almost 70% from the field for the Mono Vampire.
That lead up to 17, largest in the game, with a minute to go here in the first. Ricky Yang facing up against Singletary and away from play. Chantachon will be whistled for this one, trying to get the space away from Sam DeGuara. Tall order. That's his first. Look at that. I mean, Sam DeGuara didn't even see him there.
That's a tough assignment, but Tierra Watt has got to do that. He's going to go up against guys as big as Sam or slightly smaller than him. I mean, he's got to really up his strength to be able to withstand those pushes and pulls.
And Sam DeGuara, I believe, is the 3rd or 4th tallest active player in the world right now. In his 2nd ABL season, first with Hong Kong Eastern, missing on the first free throw. 7'5" from Malta, missing on both. Here comes Tyler Lamb pushing it up. Moses Morgan blocked from behind by Marcus Elliott. So Marcus Elliott trying to contribute in other ways because his offense has gone south here in the first quarter. Look at that. Singletary on the inbounds play, going to Apinon Vilay-Chai. Apinon Vilay-Chai, oh, nice dish off to Chantachon, who can't roll it in.
Chantachon had a good confidence booster against Malaysia. He had a pretty good game. He's trying to continue that here.
Finally, a basket for Marcus Elliott. What is that, TK? 1 of 8 here in the first?
1 of 8. It's a struggle for Marcus Elliott, but you know that he can heat up in a hurry.
Cuts it down to 15. Pick and roll action. Chantachon missing another gimme. Yeah, the shot clock's been turned off in this one, or practically the same as the game clock. Elliott draws the foul. Free throws coming up for the former world import MVP.
But as you see on the other end there, Chantachon missed a point-blank layup. You have to wonder if there's some fatigue factoring in there. He followed the team back from Malaysia actually yesterday because he lost his passport on the way. Had to settle that. We don't know if there's enough rest to go on there, but hopefully he's able to pick things up for Douglas Marty. He's one of their key players off the bench.
Well, again, it's not too much of a flight from Malaysia to Thailand. What is that, less than 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
But it's still waiting, a lot of anxiety, losing your passport. And such is the case in life here in the ABL. That's one of the things that you can't afford to lose, your passport.
It's the first thing you check for when you leave the hotel.
Right. Singletary comes up short. 1 second to go. Now that would have counted for Marcus Elliott. But a great start for Mono Vampire, fighting for their playoff lives against the former champions. 33-19 at the end of the first 10 minutes of action. A 14-point lead for the home squad. More ABL action when we return right here in Thailand. Back with us here, ladies and gentlemen, in Thailand. As the second quarter is about to get underway, Mono Vampire up 33-19 against the visiting Hong Kong Eastern Noel Zarate alongside TK Sajatan Kulsulbun as the Mono Vampire came up with a big 17-point lead in the first, cut down to 14. Adam Su opens the scoring here in the second. But what a start for Mono Vampire.
They were just so efficient in the first quarter. They're just getting the shots that they want. Malcolm White hitting everything from the court. It's just a beautiful start for the Mono Vampire.
There's Moses Morgan, wants to join the party, doesn't get it to go. Romeo Travis with the offensive rebound. Singletary thinking about it. And the pass broken up, and it's a steal by Chan Siu Wing, who is not rested in this game.
Hong Kong Eastern off to a good start here, making their first basket and a defensive stop.
John Shu can't make it back to back. Rebound picked up by Singletary. Singletary, Shu takes it away. And into the front court, Marcus Elliott. Elliott hammered that time by Malcolm White. Free throws coming up for Elliott.
This is one of those things you got to be aware of going up against Hong Kong Eastern, because they're such a good team at setting up those half-court traps. They're defending at that half line to create turnovers, and that's why they can come back in such a hurry. We've seen it time and again. There was that historic 20-point comeback against Singapore last season. Right. There's just so many games where they've shown that no matter how far up ahead you are, you just can't let them go.
And you just mentioned that game against Singapore last season, one of the sickest games that we've seen here in the history of the ASEAN Basketball League, as Marcus Elliott is calibrating his gun slowly from the free throw line. Started the game 1 of 8, missing his first 7 shots. Finished well that first half 1 of 9 actually, including that desperation 3. But he's the guy who really needs to get things going here. And Hong Kong Eastern's done a good job coming back from 17 to cut it down to 10. Still early here in the second. Here's Singletary getting it out. Travis moving it around. Moses Morgan on the pick and pop. Now Romeo Travis scores.
Just doing such a good job of getting that mid-range jumpers, the entire Mono Vampire team.
Yeah, LeBron James calls him mid-range roam. And he's showing us why, coming back from that knee injury after missing 2 games. Elliott back to the free throw line he goes. So a little bit extra aggression being shown by Marcus Elliott, trying to bring his team back.
Rongpan there trying to get his way with the call, but that was clear contact on the shooting arm. And Marcus Elliott just doing a great job of creating that separation, getting ahead, and just knowing to hang into the air, waiting for that contact from Jerome.
And it'll be Tyler Lamb checking back in for Mono Vampire. Still trying to get used to these two gentlemen, Marcus Elliott and Tyler Lamb, wearing different colored uniforms in the game. But again, that's the case for Sam DeGuara at the start of the season, when he was starting to wear the blue of Hong Kong Eastern 8. What happened to your orange jersey? Elliott missing on the first, knocking down the second. So the lead is 11 now for Mono Vampire, 35-24. Singletary now doing the point guard chores, being bothered by Adam Chu, took the ball away from him once already and forcing him into a bad shot.
Adam Chu there, he's got good size, good length, just a little bit slower, and was able to get separated there, but I think that's a good matchup.
Yeah, he's a 6'4" guard, so that's always a good thing to have on your team. In the meantime, Mike Singletary is going to be whistled for the reach-in against DeGuara. They almost had the pick, but DeGuara is a lot stronger than he seems, especially when that ball is on the ground.
Yeah, that was a tough break for the Vampire. They did a good job of blitzing Sam DeGuara. Teams that like to do that, just quickly attack Sam before he can gather the ball into his hands.
Well, the moment Sam DeGuara puts it down, he turns from 7'5" to 5'5". That gives anybody an advantage. Chance you Wing with a good fake. Wing moves in closer, can't get it to go. And Malcolm White secures. Almost taken away. Pesky defense there by Chance Yu Wing. Here's Lamb. Malcolm White all day, 14 in the game.
Just stroking it. He knows that it's one of those games for him.
You have to remember that he likes to dunk the basketball. That's why he's got all that tape around his shoulders. Another guy likes to dunk the basketball is Sam DeGuara. Remember what he did in the rims over at Macau. Tore one of them down. Holyfield Straight to the cup.
Just talking about dunks there, Holyfield. He saw an opening.
A Singletary turned back by Holyfield. And Michael Holyfield starting to become a factor here. This lead is down to 11. Chan Siu-Wing dropping it inside Holyfield. He'll have to earn it, and Travis might pick up his second foul right here. And Michael Holyfield sees a slight opening. The guy's 6'11" and comes back down, TK, and plays defense.
Yeah, it's just a great sequence there by Holyfield, just running up and down the floor, getting rewarded for his efforts, and getting to the line here for 2 chances and adding up to his point total.
This is a 2-time NBA G League veteran. We've seen a lot of action on this side of the world, playing in the NBL in China as well. And according to Marcus Elliott, he is a walking double-double.
And that's what he's put up in these past 3 games. He's put up monster rebound numbers, but also doing enough on offense to get the points that the team expects out of an import. But I feel like the more important factor of his game is just cleaning up those boards.
Douglas Marty's going to call a timeout. Hong Kong Eastern slowly winning the second quarter, but they're still down by 9, 37-28. We'll step away. Back in a moment. The action continues here in the 9th season of the ASEAN Basketball League. Rise to greatness. Mono Vampires lead, which was 117, has been cut down to 9, 37-28. Noel Zarate still alongside TK, Sajatan Sulbon. And what is Hong Kong Eastern doing differently here in the second period?
They've just been able to settle on defense a bit more, being able to pressure a bit further out in that half course, and that's really gotten them into their zone. It's slowed down the Mono Vampire of getting into their offensive rhythm, and it gets turnovers that gets the Eastern basketball team into those transition situations with the thrive.
Well, there are going to be some new players once again for Hong Kong Eastern. Freddie Leach is back. Sang Tong seeing his first action of the game as well. And an immediate press by Hong Kong Eastern. I don't know if Mono was ready for this one. Leach getting it over to the side. Tyler Lamb working against his former teammate Adam Hsu. Lamb puts the move on Hsu, lobs it over to Malcolm White.
Just give the ball to Malcolm White every time we go down on the court.
16 in the game for Malcolm White. And the lead back up to 11, 39-28. 6:27 to play in the second. Holyfield on the high-low, read well by White, but can't keep it in play. And Malcolm White says hi to some of the lady fans out there at the baseline.
That's a bit of a problem in the flow of the offense for Hong Kong Eastern. Michael Holyfield there had the ball at the free throw line. We know that Sam DeGuara is a big target, but that's 2 times in 2 straight possessions that he's missed Chan Siu-Wing right in the corner of the field, which is his shot. And that's something that you've got to feed those shooters.
Marcus Elliott now starting to warm up here, TK. You don't want to get him going if you're Mono Vampire. The lead is down to 9, 39-30. Remember, against the Macau Black Bears, it was the other way around. It was Hong Kong Eastern up by 10, and they ended up losing that game. And here they are again on the road, trying to reverse those roles. Adam Hsu from 21, yeah!
After a slow start by Hong Kong Eastern, right now they're consistently knocking down the shots. They're keeping their head down on defense, just pressuring those ball handlers, and it's paying off.
Hsu is yet to miss. He's 2 for 2 from the field, cuts the lead down to 7. Has a forced shot coming from Malcolm White. Here's Elliott into the front court. Elliott, all sorts of space. And he will be challenged well by Sang Tong. Back to the free throw line for Marcus Elliott.
And that's what happens when you play good defense. You're able to get in that open court. And once Marcus Elliott finds that runway and he gathers, he sees who he's going up against. He's either getting that foul or getting a monster slam.
No slams yet for Marcus Elliott. In fact, he's only had 2 field goals today, but he's been a frequent visitor at the free throw line. Hong Kong Eastern chipping away at this Mono Vampire lead. Marcus Elliott, cool and collected. He's only missed 1 free throw today. And again, we don't expect Marcus Elliott to get much rest in this game, with O'Darian Bassett still sidelined. 2 for 2. So from 17 points, it is now down to just 5. Marcus Elliott slowly warming up with 9 points as we come up on 5 minutes to play here in the first half. Sang Tong has the height advantage over Elliott. Can't penetrate. Out to Romeo Travis. Rome with the right hand. Good challenge by Holyfield, and Chance Yu Wing recovers.
And another good defensive stop, and Eastern are trying to take advantage here.
Nice pass inside by Adam Shu, but Romeo Travis takes it away from DeGuara. Leash in the front court. Transition clean, Tyler Lamb, and the rebound picked up by DeGuara.
Sigh of relief there by Coach Edu Torres, turning the ball over to Sam DeGuara, not punished for it.
And DeGuara gets it in the low block once again. Will he be given continuation? And they say yes. So DeGuara with a chance to cut this down to 2. Once again, TK was 17 points midway through the first quarter. And here come the former champions.
And it's not a product of like great offensive production. It's just been them putting their head down on defense and just stopping Mono Vampire, swarming them all over the court, forcing them to difficult shots, and they just go back on the other side of the floor and get their efficient shots.
Well, Malcolm White's only scored 2 points so far after coming, or 4 points so far here in the second after coming away with 12 and the first. Singletary finding Travis, and Travis overshoots and a foul is called. Adam Shu, the guilty party. Adam Shu getting a lot of burn here in the second, TK.
Yeah, and that was almost a good defensive possession by Eastern. It's just a little bit of too much effort of boxing out Michael Singletary there by Adam Shu.
Leash on the inbound, gets it over to Malcolm White. White 2 spins, bothered by Holyfield. So they change it up on defense. It's now Holyfield taking on White. Holyfield, the lob hits the rim. DeGuara with the recovery, not for long, and taken away once again by Holyfield. Holyfield attacks, and White with the foul, and they continue to jaw at each other. And again, Malcolm White at 6'10", going up against somebody who's still taller than him. Holyfield at 6'11". That's actually a good foul to give up because Malcolm White had no chance of trying to block that shot.
But Malcolm White has got to watch out. That's second foul in the game already. Romeo Travis also with 2. Freddie Leash with 2. Ron Vilay with 2. Mono Vampire sometimes have that tendency to struggle with foul trouble, and that affects them in their late game. Sometimes they collapse, and this is somewhere that they need to figure out their discipline.
And you have to explain to me, TK, the funky release of the free throw shooting of Michael Holyfield. It works, but it's just a strange looking release. It didn't work that time.
And he's a big man. He doesn't have to shoot that much.
Yeah, it's true. Down to 1 is the lead of Mono Vampire. 39-38. 3:48 to play in the second. Tyler Lamb restores a 3-point lead for the moment for Mono.
Finally stopping the bleeding. And that's just what Mono Vampire needed, some easy baskets.
That looked like a 10-zip run by Mono Vampire. Elliott to tie it up, no. And Leash tracks it down. 41-38 Mono Vampire. If they win here today, they will overtake the Westports Malaysia Dragons for number 8 in the team standings. Singletary looking for a foul, none was called. Here comes Elliott. Elliott on the lob, DeGuara gets rid of Leash, and he's forced into a traveling violation. So the pesky defense of Freddie Leash playing dividends there.
That's a tough break for Sam Deguara. He's been pestered on those receptions in the post all game long. Just once that he felt that he was getting loose from it and getting the open pass, just called for a traveling violation.
Again, Sam Deguara, the moment he puts down the ball, he's fair game for everybody on the Mono Vampire squad. Under 3 minutes to play in the second. White, Chantachon, very tall lineup on the floor now for Mono. Posting up, Lamb working against Chance Yu-Wing, gets it out, Singletary, 4-3.
He's been quiet for a while there. Finally getting his first 3 for the game.
Just 5 unanswered now for Mono Vampire. Singletary already double figures with 11. Chance Yu-Wing, Elliott wants a 3 back. Can't get it back. Deguara. And he's fouled on the ground. That's going to be number 2 on Singletary. Oh, they called it on Tirawa Chatachon, his 3rd.
Tough stretch for the young big man. But after Eastern, we're able to hold Mono Vampire to 0 points over 4 minutes. Now they're starting to come back, a 5-0 run. Both teams trading punches right now, getting runs of their own.
Deguara drops in the first after being a revered hero here just a season ago, getting the boos now from the Thai fans.
And the fans here, they love Sam Deguara. I don't think there's any bad blood or, as you mentioned, calling him a traitor.
Right.
They just really love their big man.
That's another walk on Sam Deguara, hesitating on giving out that pass to Elliott. Nah, I mean, you know Sam Deguara. He's a really nice guy, and basketball is a business.
Yeah, he's a really funny guy.
He is a funny guy.
Loved by all of his teammates on both teams.
Here comes Lee Key, and this is a rare rest for Marcus Elliott.
He's gonna need this breather. It looks like it could go down to the wire, and these few minutes of rest are gonna be valuable towards the end of the game for Coach Edu.
Here is Leash. Fall away from the baseline is short. How about Tirawat Chantachon? Tracking that one down. Singletary. 2 minutes to go. And the second. Singletary is near the cup. And a foul by Adam Hsu prevents him from getting that basket. Well, Adam Hsu has not sat down since coming in to start the second. Quality minutes for Edu Torres.
And he's been doing a great job on Singletary. In the first quarter, it was Marcus Elliott who was holding Singletary down on defense, and that just puts a lot of pressure on the guy who's supposed to run your offense and score points. Changing in Adam Hsu, who might not have as big of a role on offense, and being able to slow down Singletary, he's been pretty much locked down in the second quarter. I think it was a good move by Edu Torres, and it's paid off.
A split that time coming from Singletary. And we're going to have a ceasefire called, with Mono Vampire clinging on to a 5-point lead. 44-39. Hong Kong Eastern running away with his second, but they're still down by 6. Hong Kong Eastern showing their championship experience, coming from 17 points down to actually cut the lead down to just 1. But Mono Vampire had a response. They're up by 6 right now, 45-39 with 1:55 remaining in the first half. Again, this game with a lot of playoff implications. A win by Hong Kong Eastern actually theoretically toes 3 teams into the playoffs, TK.
Yeah, and right now Hong Kong Eastern going back to their starting lineup. Unable to knock down that 3 though.
But Holyfield stays with it. And Michael Holyfield cuts it down to 4 on the follow-up, 45-41. Here's Malcolm White. Chatachon. Post up now for Lam. Chatachon had all sorts of problems handling the ball. Still gets it out. Singletary from a deep distance. Doesn't hit anything. Douglas Marty, ever the confident coach, the positive coach. Just move on to the next play. Hong Kong Eastern with a golden opportunity to really keep this one close. Chen Siu Wing. That was early in the shot clock. Eddie Torres won't like that.
Both teams firing blanks here as the first half is coming to a close.
46 seconds to go. And the second. Singletary can't do the up and under. Gets it out. Lamb for a deep three. That is good.
Straight in the face of Chan Siu Wing, who was right on him.
And the lead expands to 7 once again for the home team. Tyler Lamb, 14 in the game against the team he won a championship with a couple of seasons ago. DeGuara lost the handle. Singletary, leash, back to Singletary, and Singletary with a finish.
And that just hasn't been working for Eastern. The pick and roll going to Sam DeGuara. They have got to figure out a way to get their offense going.
Another turnover here. 3 seconds to go. Lamb over to Singletary, and a foul is going to be called. Oh, no foul is called. They say time has expired in the second quarter. They are looking for a foul, but Mono Vampire officially walks away with a 9-point lead at the half, 50-41. Everybody trying to talk to the referees, but what a survival mode put on by Mono Vampire team.
Yeah, great finish to the half here. Just locking down, getting those passes by the Eastern and roaring out on the fast break to finish strong.
Again, Mono Vampire needs to win as many games as they can from their remaining schedule to stay in the hunt for that playoff spot. Malcolm White, after scoring 12 in the first, limited to only 4 more points in the second quarter. Marcus Elliott, however, started to get it going already with 10 points. Sam DeGuara close to another double-double. And a battle of the assists between 2 former teammates, Marcus Elliott and Tyler Lamb. We are at the half. We will be back for more exciting action from the 9th season of the ASEAN Basketball League. Rise to greatness. Back with us here, ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments. The third period is going to get underway. It is a 9-point lead for Mono Vampire, 50-41, and at the rate they were performing in that second quarter, TK, it appeared that Hong Kong had their number, but they did a lot at the final moments of that second quarter to keep this 9-point lead.
Yeah, just being able to get those 2 steals and get 2 quick attempts at the basket, was able to build up another 9-point lead. Right now it went down to, as we mentioned, only 1 point. Great run back into the game by Eastern, but a strong finish by Mono Vampire. And you know from watching so many basketball games like that, it's really important to just go into the halftime locker room with a lot of momentum, with your morale being really high. When you come out for the second half, that means a lot to how you finish the game.
And you can see here Romeo Travis, he's being worked on. He had problems with that right knee, missed 2 games. Actually, Mono Vampire, ever since Romeo Travis and Tyler Lamb joined the squad, they won 3 straight, lost once, and then won another one, coming off a victory against the Westports Malaysia Dragons. They are in great position to not only enter the playoffs, they could actually even finish as high as 6th place if they win their remaining games.
Yeah, and that's a strong possibility as well. They have 2 games against the 8th place Westports Malaysia Dragons, and those are 2 big wins that they need to at least get the playoff spot. But if they can secure 1 here against the Hong Kong Eastern basketball team, that's going to be even huge for them to be able to rise up the table and maybe avoid a playoff matchup against the number 1 seed, whether it's going to be Alab, who's there right now, or if they lose that division later.
Anthony Torres knows that they also need this game to officially clinch. A win here by Hong Kong Eastern actually toes 3 teams into the playoffs, and we were talking about this earlier. Hong Kong toes themselves in by doing that, but they also bring in the CLS Knights and the Saigon Heat into the playoffs.
And as we close out towards the end of the season, the pressure is going to be on those teams that are yet to be able to make the playoffs. Teams like the Mono Vampire, teams like the Westports Malaysia Dragons, and that's the implications that are going to face up in this final stretch of the season.
Now for the Wolf Warriors, of course, they are technically still not eliminated from this one, but they got to start winning already. So again, all of our remaining games until the final playoff date, or the final regular season date on March 24, carries a lot of implications, not only in terms of the playoffs, but in terms of seedings as well. If the playoffs started today, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas would be number 1, but knocking on their door, the Formosa Dreamers as well, playing a pretty good basketball of late. And of course, with the addition of that man, Romeo Travis, Mono becomes a threat to any of those teams at the top spots in the playoffs.
Yeah, and right now, the teams from number 2 to number 7, they're all there at 13 wins to 11 wins. The standings can just can basically change at every game, and that's what makes it so fun here towards the end of the season, even as the teams are starting to settle and prepare for that playoff run.
And we also have a bunch of games of big importance this coming weekend. We do have that double matchup between the Macau Black Bears and the Formosa Dreamers. Singapore hosting San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. So a lot of very important games this weekend, but we start off with this one with Mono Vampire up by 9 to begin the third. Once again, Noel Zarate along with Sanjatam Kutsulbon, or TK, bringing you the action from Stadium 29 here at Nonthaburo, Thailand. And there's going to be a whistle. Elliott climbing the back of Malcolm White. And here's another funny guy, you know, Marcus Elliott. He may seem serious on the court, but when you talk to him outside the court, he's got a lot of jokes to tell as well.
He's a great personality. That's why he's been able to stick on this team for so long, just because he gets along so well with all the players, all the staff of this Hong Kong Eastern team.
Here's Lamb swinging it around now to Freddie Leash. Good patience being shown by Mono Vampire, and picking up from where he left off in the first half, Malcolm White now with 18 in the game.
It was a little bit quiet there towards the end of the second half. Hong Kong Eastern were doing a good job of closing in, but starting the half the right way.
Here's Elliott, 10 points at the half. Still blanks from 3-point range for Marcus Elliott. He'll attack this time. Elliott gets creative, and Singletary saves it to Leash.
Maybe a little too creative there for Marcus Elliott.
Uh-oh, they leave Singletary open, and he knocks it down. First 5 points of the third belonging to Mono Vampire, and they're up by 14.
That's usually more than often a bad decision to leave Michael Singletary that wide open.
Right.
He's just a great three-point shooter, and he's 2 for 4 today in this game.
Here's Holyfield, comes up short on the frontal assault. And Singletary comes away with it. Singletary, over now to Travis. Travis, how to get to Singletary. Adam Shu still on him. This sort of worked for Hong Kong Eastern. And the second great pass over to Malcolm White again.
What a game he's been having, just doing a little bit of everything. He's not doing what he usually does with his backing down and getting those dunks, but it's been effective nonetheless. 20 points already for the big man.
And they're one away from their biggest lead of the game. Now stands at 16, 57-41. Chance Ewing. Holyfield momentarily open, did not shoot. Adam Shu will shoot the three. And one and done once again for Hong Kong Eastern. Here comes Tyler Lamb. Lamb in the front court. Gets a pick from Malcolm White. Travis again showing patience on offense. Mono Vampire. Shot clock down to 10. Lamb makes his move. Lamb leaving the defense. He will miss. And a foul on Singletary. Or check that, it's on Adam Sue. Using his hands to try to box out Mike Singletary.
Nightmare of a start here this second half for Coach Edu Torres on the back end of a 7-0 run, and we're back to a 16-point deficit for Eastern once again after they clawed their way back to 1.
Tyler Lamb, empty from the outside. Another long rebound picked up by Romeo Travis. 10 on the shot clock. Freddie Leash changing hands in midair. Another rebound for Travis. Malcolm White, 22 in the game.
Just anything he touches turns the goal in this game.
And a quick timeout by Edu Torres. What a start for Mono Vampire. 9-0 run to open the third. Timeout, Hong Kong Eastern. Malcolm White looking like Kevin Durant out there today. 22 points, only 4 rebounds, but his offense has been key for Mono Vampire, now erecting their largest lead of the game at 18 on this 9-0 start here in the third.
What a rebound it's been for Malcolm White. He only had 2 points in the last game.
Oh! Michael Holyfield defying gravity to get the follow slam.
See if that gets Eastern going. Finally putting up some points here in the second half.
Good response coming off the timeout from Edu Torres. Oh, quick crossover. Freddie Leash can't finish though. And here comes Elliott. Elliott burning rubber into the front court. Elliott taking it all the way.
Once again, Eastern trying to boost their way back into the game, but they just can't keep on falling into these big holes and fighting back. It just takes up so much energy.
That's right. Travis working his way inside, dropping it off to Malcolm White. There's going to be a foul to Hall play. And they say 3-second violation against Malcolm White.
So again, another defensive stop. Eastern already 2 straight possessions with points, but they're down by 14 still.
And Edu Torres has inserted his second unit on the floor, and they're getting it done. Here's John Shu. Shu on the penetration. That is 6 straight points for Hong Kong Eastern coming off the Edu Torres timeout. And it's Doug Marty's turn to call a ceasefire as this lead has been trimmed down to just 12, 59 to 47. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Marcus Elliott now with 12 points, 2 rebounds, but more importantly 5 assists, trying to get everybody involved for Hong Kong Eastern. They're in the middle of a 6-0 run and coming off a Douglas Marty timeout. It is 59 to 47. Mono Vampire still up by 12, 6:20 remaining in the third.
And a part of why Eastern have been down this big of a hole is the lack of efficiency for Marcus Elliott. He's only 3 of 14 from the floor in today's game. He had 34 points off a blistering 65% shooting from the field in the last game.
Travis sees an opening. Travis tries to drop it inside to White. White on the hook shot.
Like, Malcolm White is just doing everything well today. He hasn't been aggressively attacking it and just getting head of steam as he usually does, but it's been working.
He's up the lead to 14 once again. And pass a little too high for Adam Shu. So they turn it over once again. Mono Vampire with possession and a 14-point lead. Leash. Tyler Lamb is the one who gets it across. Oh, that's an unforced turnover from Tyler Lamb.
Both teams throwing away passes to get out of the timeout.
So once again, Adam Shu getting a lot of burn in this one, TK, since starting that second quarter. Has played decent defense on Mike Singletary. He's also contributed 4 points as Elliott misses from the outside. And how about Ricky Yang taking it away from Singletary?
Good job by the youngster. Once again, punishing the ball handlers of Mono Vampire.
And wide open John Shu, no. Rebound picked up by Leach. Romeo Travis into the front court. Tyler Lamb, baseline J in transition. That is a miss. Adam Shu doing a little bit of everything right now. Picking up the rebound, Ricky Yang thinking about pulling up. Yang gets it over to the other side, Shu for 3. And Holyfield and Singletary contest possession, they say, Hong Kong Eastern basketball. Again, Holyfield at 6'11", kind of hard to box out. Singletary might have had a case that time. As we have our first look now at Chichai Ananti. One of the Spitfires lost his starting job to Tyler Lamb, but nonetheless a very, very potent player in terms of offense. Here's Elliott, picked up now by Travis. 6 on the shot clock for Hong Kong Eastern. Shu fall away, it's good!
And John Shu, he has that potential to be another guy that can produce on offense for Eastern. He has a good jump shot, strong body attacking the basket. But he's got to pick up on defense. Like
Darompana Piron Vilay with his first field goal of the game, moving well without the ball. 63-49, Mono Vampire. 4:20 to play in the third. Chichai almost comes away with it. And they'll stay with Hong Kong Eastern. And here comes Lee Kee. Lee Kee, you know he can warm up in an instant. I remember that game that you were talking about against Singapore where he hit 5 3-pointers in a row. to come back from 20 points down. And our first look now at Lau Tilai, also another deadly shooter.
They're bringing in shooters here, substituting the defense of Adam Shu. Coach Andrew Torres obviously trying to get back into this game in a hurry.
Oh, how about that? A little off balance, but still got it to go. Marcus Elliott might not have the greatest shooting performance today, but he's doing enough to keep Hong Kong in this.
He's not going to let that rattle his confidence. He knows that Eastern need him to take charge on the offensive end, whether he's having a struggling night from the field or not.
Remember last season, Marcus Elliott almost averaged a triple-double. Singletary on the spin. And a whistle on John Shu.
Number 24.
Bailed out there by the whistle. Great effort by Marcus Elliott on the initial defense, just bothering Michael Singletary. Got the screen and freed up Singletary to get the foul here and gets to the line.
And Singletary is actually the biggest beneficiary of the loss of Jason Brickman, because Singletary now is tasked to do a lot of point guard chores and actually averages close to 8 assists a game since the departure of Brickman. 20 points today, he hardly felt that with the way Malcolm White's been stroking the ball. 21 now to up the lead to 14 with 3:46 to go here in the third. Here's Elliott. Picked up by Singletary. They get it to Lee Key. Steps to the side, fires a three. And Chichai Ananti comes away with it. Here's Singletary once again, bringing it down. Apiron Vilaichai setting the pick. Now picked up by Lee Key. Apiron Vilaichai thinking about it. Driving over to Malcolm White. How did he find him?
What a pass by Jerome Pan. You know that he would have trouble getting up to the basket on the layup. A great find for Malcolm White.
16-point lead anew for Mono Vampire. Hong Kong keeps possession with 3:06 to go here in the third. And here comes the veteran Chanachon Glahan, who is always the last guy called out of the pre-game call-outs. And he has served well. One of the veterans of the ABL as John Shu misses from the outside. Lee Key. Elliott straightaway three. Good!
Eastern's going to need that three-point shooting. They're only 5 of 18 so far in this game. That's how they get their offense going in the previous games. That's how they win games. They just need more goals.
Oh, Chichai looking for the goaltend. He actually got it. Once again, moving well without the ball, and Holyfield just came a tad too late. So Chichai Ananti, one of the rising stars of Thai basketball. That's a pretty obvious call.
Chichai loves those backdoor cuts, and he moves so quickly in his long arms. It's just an easy target for the guards of Mono Vampire to find when he's streaking towards that baseline.
Elliott attracts two. Elliott working against Apiron Vilaichai. Getting it out now to Tan Chi Hang. We're seeing his first action of the game, and there goes Glahan with a steal. Ananti, touchdown, Mono Vampire. So even the bench is now starting to contribute for Doug Marty. Another 17-point lead built by Mono Vampire. And another local coming in, Tirawat Chatachon, replacing Romeo Travis. I mean, what a statement being done here by Doug Marty, clinging to a 17-point lead with a bunch of locals and Malcolm White on the floor.
Good job by the bench of producing this kind of cushion for the team.
Lau Tilai missing from the outside. A foul is going to be whistled. If that's on White, that's his third. As we see it here again, White actually got it in the face. So they're going to say ball possession goes over to Mono Vampire. So it was on Lee Key, it appears. Here's Glahan. Ananti going to Apiron Vilaichai. Under 2 minutes to play in the third. Glahan, three-pointer, not there. And Tirawat Chatachon outworking Tang Chi Hang. Glahan, aggressive, has it poked away. And they lose possession.
And right now is a good time for the bench players to step up, kind of start the momentum for their teams, because when it comes to the fourth quarter, both coaches are probably going to get their starters back in, finish the game strong.
Well, what a gambit here for Doug Marty. 4 locals and Malcolm White. Here's Sam DeGuara. We haven't heard much from him here in the third. Makes his presence felt on the spin move. So 71-56, down to 15. Ananti. Chanachon Lahan. Apiron Vilay-Chai on the drive. Apiron Vilay-Chai over Sam DeGuara.
Good cut there by Apiron Vilay-Chai, but the find by Chanachon Lahan as well opened up the lane for him. Just getting an easy layup.
They're having their way against Hong Kong at this moment as Sam DeGuara bothered by Lahan. Here's Apiron Vilay-Chai with less than a minute to go here in the third. Mono Vampire up 17 against the former champions. Chichai. That's a foul on Lao Tilai trying to fight the screen.
Sam DeGuara has to watch out though. That's 2 straight possessions where he's tried to push Malcolm White out a little. The refs haven't picked it up yet, but Malcolm White has been trying to tell the refs that Sam DeGuara is just bullying me out there on the perimeter.
Right. Well, Chichai Ananti, some quality minutes coming off the bench. 4 points. And this guy just burst into the scene actually a couple of years back during the Siaba tournament held in the Philippines. And was one of the crowd favorites in Manila when Thailand made their appearance in the Siaba tournament.
He can just put points in a hurry, and he can do it so many ways. He can shoot threes, he gets out on the fast break. He has a bit of a problem controlling the ball while driving towards the basket, but still, if you can get him in the open, in the transition game in the open court, he can just score for you.
5 in the game now. Enough to push the lead back up to 18 once again, matching the largest in the game. 37 seconds to play in the third. Leaky halfway down, and another whistle. This one on Malcolm White. That is now, what is it, foul number 3 on White.
Malcolm White can't believe it. He's saying that he's been doing the same thing on me at the other end.
He and DeGuara trying to body up on each other. And again, it's so hard to box out somebody 7'5" with that kind of position inside. And we're going to have a sub before the inbound. Now, Malcolm White's going to sit. And Romeo Travis, you said he can play from the off-guard position all the way to center. He's going to be playing center right now. Now Tilai steps back. DeGuara, good seal. DeGuara fouled on the ground. Oh, they count the basket. And Sam DeGuara's got a 3-point play opportunity coming up.
I was about to say that subbing in Romeo to guard Sam DeGuara, that's a bit of a risk as well, because Romeo has 2 fouls, but that isn't going to get called on Romeo, but still, that's a risk that you're going to take. The fouls are piling up. Malcolm White has 3. Santa John has 3. Romeo has 3. There's still 10 minutes of the game, and Eastern can come back at you quickly.
Well, they cut it down to 15 right now. About a 1-second differential between the clocks, 74-59. Chichai going over to Rome. Apiron Vilay-Chai. Chichai Ananti once again. Chana Lahan. That's usually a shot, but passes up on it. Gives it over to Chichai. Over to Travis, 4 to shoot. Travis baseline, challenge that time. And Holyfield gets it, and a foul on Chichai Ananti. Free throws coming up for Michael Holyfield.
Holyfield not liking Chichai, just clawing at him after the rebound right there. Maybe a little bit of a shove, but goes undetected by the refs.
With still 1.1 remaining here in the third. Oh, there's no penalty situation yet, so it'll be a forward pass to Sam DeGuara, broken up by Travis. And Mono Vampire adding to the lead at the half. They had it at 9 at the halftime break. They're up to 15 now, heading into the final quarter, 74-59. How many bullets do Hong Kong Eastern have in their arsenal? We'll find out when we return. Entering the final 10 minutes of action, a 15-point lead for Mono Vampire against Hong Kong Eastern in a game that Mono must win to keep their playoff hopes alive, and not only keep their playoff hopes alive, a win today by Mono over Hong Kong Eastern propels them to the 8th seed as of the moment. Of course, the Westport's Malaysia Dragons may still have something to say about that, TK.
Yeah, there's still a couple of games left, and as we mentioned, 2 more games left between the Dragons and the Mono Vampires, so that's a fun series to follow as the season progresses. But what a game this has been for Malcolm White, already 26 points, and he's only missed 4 shots from the floor.
Now Chilai can't get it going here to start the third. That's a bad lob pass coming from Tang Chi Hang, and here it comes. I'll make that chance you wing. Here is Singletary, and that is kept alive by Lau Tilai. Chan in the front guard. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but Coach Edu Torres has been frustrated with how their offense has been flowing in throughout this entire game. Can't really get anything going their way.
They're going to say foul, and the basket counts. Sam DeGuara now realizing that he is the beanstalk among a bunch of jacks.
Still, despite these moments, the Mono Vampire have been doing a good job of once again just double teaming and blitzing whenever the ball comes even close to Sam DeGuara. Eventually, sometimes you're going to give up these and one attempts to DeGuara, but they've come up with a lot of turnovers against the big man already in this game. 3 so far, and that's been a positive for the Mono Vampire when they're able to force those.
Tirawa Chata trying to pick up his 4th foul. Travis on the curl. Too strong. Here's Chance Yu Wing in the front court now. Hong Kong Eastern not out of this. Just over a minute gone by here in the 4th. Here's Lee Kee. Getting a pick from DeGuara. Do they run the pick and roll? No, that is broken up by Singletary. 13 to shoot for Hong Kong Eastern, and Chanta Chon will be preserved by Doug Marty as Malcolm White rejoins the fray.
Once again there, though, Eastern have been struggling so much at just passing around the perimeter, so many deflections, maybe not direct turnovers, but it just stagnates their offense, unable to get things going, and by the time you know it, there's not much time left on the shot clock for them to get a good shot.
Yeah, just like what you were talking about there, but Marcus Elliott forces one up. Here comes Singletary leading a 4-on-3. Great pass to Apiron Vilay-Chai, but he can't finish. And Singletary and Elliott get entangled. Apiron Vilay-Chai looking for a foul. It stays with Mono Vampire. So some color developing between the 2 team leaders, Mike Singletary and Marcus Elliott. And here comes Tyler Lamb to replace Chichai Ananti. So you can say probably, TK, that the bench of Doug Marty did their job on the floor in their short stint.
Yeah, this great performance by whether it's Ananti, Glahan, Apiron Vilay-Chai is coming in, producing solid defense, opening up the floor.
Malcolm White taps that one out. So again, Hong Kong is now controlling the pace of this 4th quarter. They're only down 13. They were down 20 against the Slingers and won the game.
The problem here for Eastern is that they can't capitalize on whenever Mono Vampire gets cold. And here again, it's another turnover. Coach Edu Torres is furious there on the sideline.
Singletary a little too deep. DeGuara showing his ball handling skills. Gets it over to Chance to win. Cross-court pass now to Elliott. Lee Kee open for 3. Good!
Finally there's something good on offense for Eastern. And right now, Mono Vampire, they're getting a bit cold. Eastern's just got to do everything they can to capitalize on these blank attempts by the home team.
Here's Tyler Lamb leaving everybody behind. And Malcolm White may have run out of bullets. Lee Kee, Chance Yu Wing, Elliott transition 3. And a rebound by Holyfield, who lost the ball.
Turning up the ball over way too easily. Michael Holyfield there has got to just set his footing and get the ball out to someone.
Here's the veteran Romeo Travis slowing it down. They did not have the numbers. Apidon Vilay-Chai seeing a lot of minutes here in the second half. Travis pulls up, baseline, no. Singletary, another rebound.
Big rebound there by Singletary. That could have been an opportunity to cut it down to single digits.
DeGuara and White getting physical near midcourt. And Big Sam is going to be called for this one.
Finally, the refs call it, and Malcolm White says, "What took you so long?" He's been doing that to me every time, trying to set a screen. Finally, some retaliation.
Well, one of the more demonstrative situations there for Malcolm White. Here's Lamb. 7 remaining in the fourth. Travis from 20. Wow. So many weapons for Mono Vampire.
Travis has been struggling in this game, only 2 for 9, but this is a good time to make his second basket.
Elliott finding DeGuara. Leakey's been begging for the ball. Leakey on the penetration. Long 3 for Marcus Elliott. Holyfield battling for it, and that cannot be saved by Romeo Travis. They say Apidon Vilay-Chai touched it last.
Still trouble for Hong Kong Eastern. They've been unable to just move the ball efficiently to the places where their players are comfortable receiving and continuing to move the offense. It just seems like once they get the ball, they still have to think a couple of more seconds what they want to do with it next, and that just slows down the offense, and that's time that they don't have in this game.
It is still a 12-point lead for Mono. We have a timeout on the floor. Back in a moment. Back with us here inside Stadium 29. This place is rocking, and look at our key player matchup right here. Singletary with 21. Elliott's clawed his way to 17 points, but how about the 8 assists as well for Elliott? Singletary with 8 boards.
Yeah, Marcus Elliott, he's been doing a good job of being able to get the ball to either DeGuara or his shooters, but 17 points off 20 attempts, that's something that's really got to change, and these are the kind of games that Eastern will have to avoid finding themselves in if they're going to make a chance at getting back to the finals this season.
Well, remember, a victory by Hong Kong clinches a playoff spot for them, CLS, and Saigon. So they're going to be helping 2 teams if they come back and win. However, if Mono hangs on to win, they will grab that number 8 seed and or the number 8 position in the team standings. And Hong Kong will have to wait until the next game to clinch. And nobody's speaking to each other on offense. Shot clock expires for Hong Kong Eastern, coming off a timeout, no less.
Plenty of homework here for Coach Edo to do. Their offense is just sputtering. Usually there's a free flow between the shooters and Marcus Elliott, just passing the ball around, zipping the ball around. But today, it's just been off.
It is now Tyler Lamb taking over the point guard chores for Mono. Tyler Lamb with a crossover. Tries to get away from Chance Yu Wing. Travis thought about it. Here's Singletary, 8 to shoot with under 6 to play in the fourth. And here's Apidon Vilay-Chai. And a rebound picked up by Holyfield. Lee. Chance Yu Wing, transition 3.
Big shot by Chance Yu Wing, and you just have to love how This man has rebounded from an ACL injury last season. He's just coming off strong. 2 straight games of double-digit scoring, 3 threes in this game alone. It's just an inspiring performance by the youngster.
Here's Singletary trying to do a solo. Backs down when DeGuara is there. Here's White getting it over to Travis. They have to put this one up. That's going to be either a 3-second violation or a foul call. They will call the 3-second violation on Malcolm White.
It's a little bit too unselfish there by Singletary, Romeo, and White, but they've been doing a great job of sharing the ball between all of their players. 27 assists so far in this game on 30 field goals made, but it's not just one person who's been setting it up. Freddie Lisha 6 assists, Tyler Lammers 5, Singletary with 4. It's just everyone's sharing the ball.
Lee Key can't capitalize on being open that time. As we approach 5 minutes to go in the 4th. Lamb against Lee. Nice pass inside to Travis. Gets it to go on the reverse.
We were talking about that, sharing the basketball. Tyler Lamb, he had a good chance at getting that layup, but Romeo Travis was wide open.
Elliott can't retaliate from deep. Oh, Holyfield had an open look but missed. And a save by Singletary. And going back to Romeo Travis, it reminds me of a quote from the great singer Celine Dion. She said, you don't have to be good all the time, but you have to be good when it's time. And it is time to win. And Malcolm White cleans up the mess. Hong Kong Eastern sues for time, and the lead balloons to 13 points once again. Malcolm White having a spectacular day. 80-67. Mono. We'll be right back. Malcolm White having an inspired ball game today. As we take a look at the center matchup, White now with a game-high 28. DeGuara with his usual double-double, but Hong Kong Eastern is in trouble in this one, TK. Down 13 here in the 4th.
They were able to cut it down to single digits, but another great response by Mono Vampire Basketball Club. Just every time they get cold, Eastern hasn't been able to capitalize on it, and just leaving room for Mono Vampire to figure themselves out and get back a big lead.
And the Vampire having fun with the crowd as well here at Stadium 29, Nonthaburi, Thailand. Look at the field goal numbers so far. Mono Vampire shooting close to 50%. Hong Kong Eastern struggling with their shot, especially from deep on 7 of 29. That's more than double the attempt of Mono in this game.
And only a couple of more made threes would put them right back in this game, but that just spells what kind of struggles they have had just knocking down the shots that they usually make from that range.
They go inside now to Michael Holyfield, and Holyfield can't get it to go again. How many close range attacks has Holyfield missed in this game?
Once he can't make those shots, the defense are able to close out on Eastern shooters a bit more, and that's just how the offense has been falling apart for Eastern in this game.
Here's Lamb going out. Travis, a rare three. And Holyfield secures. They still have time with 3:47 remaining in the 4th. Elliott. Over now to Chansey Wing. Wing on the floater. Good.
Good patience by Chansey Wing. He's made a couple of threes. Singletary is aware of that, closes out on him, and Wing just drives right by. Easy floater.
So that lead is down to 11, and Edu Torres knows that's more than enough time to mount a comeback, but they have to start on the defensive end. As Tyler Lamb is now starting to befriend the clock by slowing it down. Romeo Travis looking for a friend. Finds Singletary. Singletary short. And another rebound for Michael Holyfield.
Good defense there by Eastern, just staying to their guy, not getting any space for Eastern.
Oh, great position inside, and that you cannot stop Sam DeGuara when he is that close. And both teams now down to one full timeout remaining in this game. Here comes Hong Kong Eastern, down by only 9. Taking a look at the matchup between the shooting guards, Tyler Lamb, 12 points, 6 assists. Chance Yu Wing holding his own with 11 points, 3 3-pointers in the game, also with 2 assists. But again, Hong Kong Eastern building up some steam with still over 3 minutes to go. Michael Holyfield has missed a couple of shots that could have been decisive at this point, but Hong Kong Eastern still has time in this one against Mono Vampire.
Yeah, and Chance Yu Wing there, as we saw, 11 points. He's 2 of 5 from downtown. Sorry, 3 of 7 from downtown.
Yeah.
He's still got that range. He's someone that Eastern should look at on their offensive side. Just a guy that they need to get going.
Here's that 1-2-2 trap once again. That usually forces turnovers, and it does. And that is going to be a foul given up by Freddie Leash, and it looks like Leash got hurt trying to poke that one. You know, if you dislocate a finger, that's usually the reaction. They will still give free throws to Marcus Elliott.
Yeah, and a bigger deal is that's an unsportsmanlike foul as well. So not only is it going to be free throws, but Easton's going to get possessions.
Freddie Leash, who's had a long rest, might have an extended rest this time as he has that finger issue. He's still holding on to his hand. Dapiron Villachai is going to replace him. That's his third. Marcus Elliott at the line. This is exactly what Hong Kong wants with 2:55 remaining. Clock is stopped. Opportunity to get points from the line, but Elliott missing the front end. Thing is, they still get the ball back on the unsportsmanlike foul.
That hurts though. Marcus Elliott, usually a pretty decent free throw shooter, missing here when it counts the most.
Up to 70% on 7 of 10 shooting from the line. Hong Kong Eastern has cut this one down to 8. 3 possessions with 2:55 remaining. Definitely more than enough time for the former champions to try and mount a comeback. Here's Elliott asking for a screen from DeGuara. Elliott gets it out. John Shu sees an opening, and John Shu missed the layup. DeGuara still can't get the follow-up. Good challenge that time by the defense of Mono. But they say Hong Kong basketball.
And John Shu knows that he missed there. It was a great opportunity, wide open lane for him to get the basket. It should have went up a bit stronger, but you understand he's coming back from an injury, and that's something that he needs to work on, his confidence.
Oh, Elliott gets away inside. Nice find by Lee Kee. This lead is down to 2, TK. That is a lot of time remaining.
Need some more final touches for Hong Kong Eastern. And once again, this press.
Oh, a miss by Malcolm White. He's looking for a foul. Travis tracks it down. That would have been a great pick and roll between those two.
Imagine that, though. Malcolm White's been hitting everything, but a point-blank dunk rims out for the big man.
He still doesn't have a dunk today. Singletary at the buzzer. And Elliott secures a chance now for Hong Kong with 2 minutes remaining, down 6. Elliott for three. Good!
Wow. Marcus Elliott, as we said, doesn't matter how much he's been struggling, he's going to come up with these offensive opportunities for Eastern.
This is the closest it's been here in the second half. Mono Vampires' once mighty 18-point lead is down to 3. They still need to score on this possession. Singletary, White, Apiron Vilaychay, what a dagger! A clutch basket from the veteran Darongpan Apiron Vilaychay.
Great recognition by Malcolm White to just find that corner 3, space out the floor. It pays off for Mono Vampire.
A minute and 20 to go. Elliott, wing, finding DeGuara inside. DeGuara, no basket, traveling called on Big Sam, and Andrew Torres can't believe it.
The entire bench can't believe it. They felt that Sam DeGuara was being bullied there down in the paint, but nonetheless, the ball goes back to Mono Vampire.
I don't know if anybody in the league can bully Sam DeGuara, but they do force a turnover. And here's a key sub, Adam Shue coming back in. As we see this one again, that is about 7 steps for Sam DeGuara before he got the dunk off. The pressure continues. Singletary just getting it across. Lamb has it poked. Travis has it. 10 to shoot. Under a minute remaining. Lamb for 3. Gets fouled. Taking a 3-point attempt.
Just great pressure by Easton up until the final shot there by Lamb. Sam DeGuara, it's just hard to stop a big body like that rushing full stream at a 3-point shooter.
And a chance for Tyler Lamb to bury his former team with 53.8 seconds to go. Tyler Lamb in his first game against Hong Kong Eastern this season was picked up by Mono. And remember, the first time these two teams met over at Southorn Stadium in Hong Kong, Tyler Lamb was actually in the audience, and I spoke to him after the game. He didn't know if he would be rooting for his former team or for his countrymen, but now he's made the decision to play for his country, and here he is with a chance to give themselves a 3-possession lead. It is a 3-possession lead right now, 53.8 remaining. So many opportunities, though, TK, for Hong Kong Eastern to actually even take the lead at certain points. A lot of turnovers, a lot of point-blank misses. And Tyler Lamb is making it very difficult now for Hong Kong Eastern to come back.
And they're just going to have to go back and watch the tape why they couldn't finish those point-blank misses or those open threes. Or that's just going back to practice and just putting more work to knock down those shots.
7 of 7 from the line for the former Hong Kong Eastern star. And he ups the lead of Mono Vampire now to 9. Elliott finishes with a left hand. He's looking for a foul. 46 seconds remaining.
Full-court press here.
Travis across. 40 seconds to go. Still a 3-possession lead for Mono Vampire, and a foul given up by Lau Tilai on Apiron Vilaychay. So 34.5 remaining. Hong Kong not yet in the penalty.
34 seconds.
Boy, for Edu Torres, he has to figure out what went wrong in this one. Nothing short of a miraculous comeback is needed now by Hong Kong on the road. Apiron Vilaychay. It's a weak pass. Lamb. Travis. They still need to put this up. 2 to shoot. Singletary. And the rebound to White.
And that's one of those problems, just being unable to secure those offensive rebounds. Mono Vampire has 16 offensive boards in this game.
Singletary wasting away the time. 7 seconds remaining. Lamb almost got it to go, and another rebound. That's going to do it. Mono Vampire survives Hong Kong Eastern, and they now overtake the West Sports Malaysia Dragons at 8th place in the team standings. And for Hong Kong Eastern, They need to fight another day to be able to clinch. But what a spirited showing by the home team, Mono Vampire, en route to this 7-point win, TK.
Yeah, and it was just great of seeing Mono Vampire here at home being able to withstand run after run by Hong Kong Eastern. They were coming at them hard, whether it was the pressure defense or just breaking out in the open floor, but Mono Vampire stood their ground, and they finished here with a 7-point victory.
This negates a double-double performance by Marcus Elliott. But what a game from Malcolm White. He is our player of the game. If not for the heroics of White, this would have been a different outcome. But again, what a performance as a team for Mono Vampire. And their playoff hopes, TK, are still very much alive.
Yeah, and as you said, their efforts as a team, they had 30 assists in total on 33 made field goals. So just sharing the ball around, giving everyone an opportunity. As we mentioned, those bench players, Jerome Kanapirom Vilaichai with 7 points, and that huge 3 late in the game. Chichai Nandi coming off the bench for 5. Everyone just putting in a little bit of their input in this win.
Well, we are leaving you with the highlights of this matchup. The win goes to Mono Vampire, and they are still in the hunt for the playoffs. Hong Kong still looking to clinch. Can they get it the next time? We will find out as you continue to join us for our continuing coverage of the 9th season of the ASEAN Basketball League. It is goodbye from Thailand on behalf of my partner, Sakitam Konsulbon. My name is Noel Zanate. We will see you next time for our continuing coverage of the 9th season of the ASEAN Basketball League. Rise to greatness.